A radio wave is something we take for granted, and it's not the simplest concept to understand. Thanks to the Asheville Radio Museum, we're taught the wonders of this late 19th century discovery.
A radio wave can actually travel at 186,000 miles per second.
Radio wave has enabled the kind of mass communication that allows people in one place and in a far distant place to have a connection, an immediate connection that before radio simply wasn't possible.
In 1877, Heinrich Hertz, a German scientist, proved that radio waves exist, and it all started with an electrical spark.
In the early days of radio, it was not possible to send music or speech over the radio. All you could do is create sparks. And a spark actually generates a radio wave. So if I turn on this radio here, every time I press the telegraph key, it creates sparks, and the sparks can be used to send Morse code messages.
In the early 1900s, the triode vacuum tube was invented. This technology was used to send wireless voice and music transmissions, which eventually launched radio broadcasting in the 1920s. Radio suddenly brought people together, sometimes during tragic events.
This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world. Oh, this place is 400 or 500 feet into the sky, and it's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the flame is crashing to the ground.
Well, the Asheville Radio Museum is both a teaching organization and a repository for various artifacts from the history of radio.
We started off with about 20 or 30 radios, and that snowballed.
So there's one side that's devoted to the history of amateur radio.
This is Whiskey 4, America Foxtrot Mike.
And on the other side is the broadcast radio and development of radio and electronics.
The museum is located in Asheville Buncombe Technical College, and in particular we're in the Department of Engineering and Applied Sciences.
I find that the majority of people learn more by putting their hands on it than they do all the theory on the board all day long. Once they do it, then it changes everything.
So Rose, this is our early 1900s Morse code practice machine that people would use to build up their speed. Let's see how it works.
It's safe to say there's something for everyone at the Asheville Radio Museum.
Places like this are important because they help remind kids of history and where we came from. And for me personally, it exposed me to a whole new hobby and area that I didn't really know existed that's perfect for me.
A place to see the kind of history and that has built the technology that we have today. And it's not something that's very easy to see because there aren't very many of these collections in the whole country.
I'd say our job here with visitors is to amaze, to fascinate, and to educate, and that's what we attempt to do, whether they like radio or not.
The Asheville Radio Museum is at 315 Elm Building on the campus of Asheville Buncombe Technical Community College, and they're open every Friday from 1 to 3, February through November, and by appointment. For more information, visit their website at avlradiomuseum.org.